I've heard from a few coaches, it's like, oh, you're hurt, doesn't matter. If you're still able to walk, you can keep going.
If I had to do high school over again, I would definitely not play football.
In the NFL, I used to watch those offensive and defensive linemen literally crawl in the locker room. My name is John Broussard. I have all the experience in football, I guess I'd say. I played Little League, starting in 4th grade, all the way through middle school, high school, college, and the NFL. My biggest injury? I had an avulsion fracture my junior year in high school. So basically, a piece of my muscle pulled off, or not a piece of my muscle, the muscle in my groin pulled a piece of my pelvis off. So I played my whole junior season with that, and I had to, every time I walked, I had to turn sideways because the pain was too bad. So after the season, I had to get that fixed. So I guess that was a pretty significant injury. As far as concussions, man, it's pretty serious. Like, honestly, I don't even know if I had a son, if I would want him to play football.
Like, my head was ringing for a while, and I never played football before. We just got our pads. So at first I thought it was normal. I continued for like another hour of practice of hitting. And once I had collapsed, and then I like kind of knocked out for like a minute or two. And once I woke up, I was just like, this wasn't right. So I just left to the trainer. And after I got hit, I was on the floor for a minute, and the coach just said, come on, get up. Let's go again. And then I kept going. But even after I had told him, like, my head was ringing and, like, couldn't feel anything, he just told me, oh, lift your head up. That's it. And it was up to me whether I wanted to go to they didn't tell me, but it was up to me whether I went to the trainer or not.
We used to grade concussions, like a grade 1 through 5. We've done away with grading concussions, and because we treat them all kind of the same, right? No matter how severe or how mild it is, it's still a concussion. You still follow, a specific protocol, which is make sure that they aren't displaying any more symptoms of concussion before returning them to gradual return to play. Short-term consequences of a concussion in high school would be no participation, so you're out for minimum like 2 weeks, suffering the concussion symptoms. So, and anything from a range of like sensitivity to light noise, daily headaches, feelings of nausea, dizziness, loss of balance.
As far as just the contact side, in the NFL, I used to watch those offensive and defensive linemen literally crawl in the locker room. So after the games, everybody shakes hands or whatever, you run to the tunnel, and as soon as you get away from the crowd, I used to watch people fall down and just yell, and the trainers have to come and help them up, or sometimes they crawl in there, like their bodies were beat up. And there's a reason why the games are on Sunday. You don't practice till Wednesday, and a lot of people don't even practice until Friday or Saturday. The mainstream media or fans that are watching thinking, oh, that guy just doesn't want to practice, he's lazy. But I mean, those guys physically can't walk until probably about Thursday. And the older you get, the worse it is. I mean, at 25, 26, or even 23, for you not to be able to walk until Wednesday is a pretty serious thing.
The long-term effects of concussions sustained in high school are still being studied. What we're finding now that people who only played football in high school and never had a football career after that are showing signs of CTE. CTE is chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is like a chronic brain condition brought on by sustaining multiple concussions. So you could see things like early onset dementia, early signs of Alzheimer's, other degenerative brain diseases, like maybe Parkinson's or something like that. But that's kind of still theory. Still doing a lot of studies about that.
As far as being a parent or somebody on the outside or just anybody looking at it, it's something they would have to do. I mean, those guys are essentially going to kill themselves eventually. And it's serious. I know a lot of guys that could barely walk. When I'm 35, guys are 36, 37, 38, and they're literally getting hip replacements. They have to sit down in wheelchairs to get around. I mean, it is is serious. Running into people at full speed does have an adverse effect on your body.
Like, my vision's gotten bad. I mean, I don't know if this affected it, but I know I was fine. And then later on, like, I started getting these, like, pains in my eyes, and I still get them to this day, where if I go out in the sun, every once in a while I'll get, like, a sharp pain in my right eye. And then now I had to get glasses.
I've met several players that have never had a reported concussion, which is not to say that they've never had a concussion.
I think they're a part of the game. I mean, you know what you sign up for. I mean, you're going to go out there, you play long enough, you're pretty much going to get hurt. It's just a part of any sport. I mean, any profession or anything.
Have they taken damage? Absolutely, I believe so. I just, to the extent of the damage is unknown, and whether or not they actually did sustain like a full-blown concussion is unknown, because it hasn't been, they never reported it. And that's the scariest thing to me.
A lot of coaches bring that mentality, like, you gotta win no matter what. You're hurt. What I've heard from a few coaches is like, oh, you're hurt, doesn't matter. If you're still able to walk, you can keep going. So I feel like it pushes the player to want to keep playing through an injury. They keep telling them, like, don't stop. If you could still get up, then you're okay. And that's where that mindset's coming from, and it's causing more injuries because a lot of the players, they believe, oh, as long as I can still get up, it's okay.
Oh, I would have played easily. I mean, everybody, should be able to make their own choice. Like I said, if I have a son, I'm not going to tell him he can't play football. I'm just going to educate him on exactly what comes with it.
I mean, under 12, I would say I don't think it's worth the risk. At least contact football, maybe some flag football or something. Non-contact is fine. But like Pop Warner is a little intense, I think, and a little it's a little intense for kids that young. High school, are you looking for like a straight yes or no answer to this?
I mean, like, should they really, and then should they be allowed to? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is a tough one. Okay, so should high schoolers be allowed to play football? I think, scratch the mic. It's hard to imagine high school without football at this. No, I gotta think about this answer. Your question is, should they be allowed to versus should they? Going into like some meta stuff right now. Like, should anybody do anything? I wouldn't personally, if I had to do high school over again, I would definitely not play football.
Those digits, tell me what they are.
Repeat them.
978432.
978.
432.
432.
Gene, repeat the months of the year between January
Let's find something else.
and June. Pardon me?
Let's just pick something else to do, because I can't do that.
Try.
January, May.
I don't know if you've experienced. So have you ever been hit and like you see kind of the light, the blue lights and everything? So they consider that a concussion. And when I was playing, that was just like every fucking hit. Like you were gonna get, and you felt a little lightheaded or whatever, and then you shrugged it off and you went on. But now that's a concussion. So if that's the case, then I probably had fucking 60 or 70 concussions, but I've never had an actual concussion to where the next day you're nauseated, you're throwing up, and all the other shit. What they would diagnose what a concussion is, but so I mean, it's like anything.